In Mark chapter 10, beginning at verse 32, Mark records that Jesus told his disciples a third time that he was going to be killed and be raised. This time Jesus adds that it was going to be at Jerusalem where all of this occurred, the very place to which they were heading. And that while the Jews would condemn him, it would be the Gentiles that would spit upon him and mock him and flog him and kill him. James and John came to Jesus and said, "Teacher, we want you to do whatever we ask of you." And Jesus said, "Well, what do you want?" They said, "We want to sit at your right and left hands in glory." Jesus has just talked about his sacrificial death, and here they come asking for the places of power and prominence in the coming kingdom. Jesus said, "You don't know what you are asking. Are you going to be able to endure the suffering that I'm about to endure?" And with boldness and no reservation, they said, "We are able." Jesus said, "You will experience that suffering. But it's the Father's prerogative as to who gets the places of prominence in this kingdom." The other disciples were indignant with James and John, not because they were frustrated with their spiritual dullness or their pride, but because they wanted those positions for themselves. They were mad that James and John had asked first. Jesus called all the disciples to him and said, "You know, in the kingdoms of men, the powerful ones lord it over the weaker ones. Those who are rulers dominate those who are the subjects. But it's not going to be that way in the kingdom of heaven. Those who are great in the kingdom of heaven are those who have become a servant to everybody else." In fact, Jesus said, verse 45, "The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life a ransom for many." This verse really is at the core of Mark's account, and it's really at the core of the gospel message. Jesus came to die, to pay the price, to free us from our slavery to sin. His sacrifice should reflect itself in our lives, giving ourselves for Him and giving ourselves for our brothers and sisters in Christ.